Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Let us press a button. Yes. Time to do engagement. Yes. Papa. Yes. Howdy, Skellington. For reference, I just woke up after sleeping for approximately 24 hours. It's like, yes. Thinking, papa. Good ball. Good ball. Good ball. Good ball. But yes, we are going to react to the Pippa version of this because I can't find the original got deleted. So might as well let my auntie read it. Auntie Peeper, welcome back from the coma. Notices incredibly base. Wake up, don't even fully wake up. React to content. I know I haven't streamed in a while. Also, remind me at the top of the hour that I need to get Mama Mixin her breakfast. And for those wondering, Mama Mixin is doing well on the recovery from the big sick and the big surgery from the big sick. She's doing well. But I need to get her breakfast at top of the hour. But for my credentials of DMing, as some of you know, and if you guys look back in the channel history, I did DM Honey Heist for a few of the flavors and flavor friends. Hello, Sunny. I also have DM'd and been a player in many games before. I am very much a sandbox DM. When I do DM, there will be consequences for actions, like gathering a large amount of kobolds under an army and then just abandoning them. There are going to be consequences for the actions. But I am generally, this is a collective storytelling experience first, and a game that needs to be 1 second. And I don't think that you can even really win it, D&D, but we're going to look at the infamous 44 rules that someone put on a window. Grr. I know, like, wanting to win an encounter is cool, but, like, my priority is making it a fun collective experience and an interesting story. That is my number one priority when I am DMing. But let's look at the silly little rules.
That's going to change before anyone goes shit out now. My DM just posted this after a hiatus. Enjoy. I'll just put shit out now that's going to change before anyone goes through with anything. Number 1. I'm timing turns. I don't give a fuck if it's unfair in your opinion, because your spells are hard or you don't know what square to move to. You get 1 minute to know all the actions you want to take, or I skip your turn.
Starting off strong. This is... I'm gonna start to say, no. No. Things change. And it's like, oh, well, have what you want to do prepared. It's like, what if the person going in front of you, like, knocks back an enemy? What if the enemy decides to say something? What if your party decides to say something? What if you're not coordinated on one of you want to keep this enemy alive or not? That, I understand the, okay, this is starting to take a little too long. Can we do something simple? I understand asking, like, can we simplify this down? You've been taking a while to think. But sometimes you just need time to think. 1 minute, one whole 60-second period, that is not enough time to, like, okay, do I want to spend the spell slot on this? Oh, don't close. 1 minute seems too short, yes. That is the main thing. And also, as a person with a processing disorder who has worked as a player and a DM, this isn't chess. Like, you aren't timed. We can take our time with this. This is a storytelling experience as much as it is a game. It's like, oh, how do I want this to impact the game? How do I want this to impact the story? How do I want to take like, I understand when we're getting, like, someone is taking 10 minutes for their turn and everyone else has been taking, like, 3 to 5 minutes for their turn. I understand. It's like, okay, may I suggest that we do XYZ so that we may move on? Is like 1 minute. Oh, also, happy month of Pride. Be happy. Love who you want. Smooch. Smooch your homies. On the forehead. Just give them a little kiss on the forehead. Tell even regardless of your affiliation, give your friends smooches on the forehead. Be proud to love your friends. Be proud to love the people around them. Sorry, I only smooch fictional women in my mind. Weak. Even if it is digital friends, just give a little smooch on the forehead. Just like, I was like, do you want a forehead smooch? And if you get the okay, smooch the forehead. Like, I'm giving you chat, the eldritch abomination of collective chat. Oh, the lips, got a pretty level, bro. Now, face smooching. That is a little bit more intimate. But most is like, hey, love you, bro. It's like, I've been shown love and affection by a friend. Because sometimes you just want to reserve face smooching for intimates. And that's okay. But I advocate for the level of comfort of smooching that you and your homies are okay with. Smooch. Also, I'm gay. Moving on.
Number 2, if you want harder fights, bring a second character sheet and expect to twiddle your thumbs when you die. I'm not going to baby anyone.
If fights are like puzzles, fights are puzzles. If you're going to, like, your story ends here over a puzzle, if, like, I understand, like, hey, I feel like we're going to have a major story beat where some of you may die. Please bring a secondary character sheet. That is okay. But like, oh, if you want harder fights in general, then be prepared to die. First of all, I think this is a personal thought. Character death should be reserved for impactful moments. Because death is very impactful. Okay. The second character sheet thing. Basically, prepared for that character's story to end here. So, in D&D, once you pass, you are given passing saving throws. So if you roll the D20, if you give above a 10, that's 1 point in your favor of coming back. If you get below a 10, that's 1 point in your favor of not coming back. If you roll a 1, that's 2 in your favor of not coming back. If you roll a 20, that is 2 in your favor. You need 3. The first to get to 3 favors. Trying not to say the D word so that the frickin' YouTube doesn't yeet myself for saying the D word. But isn't 20 well down instant? I think I run it too. However your DM chooses to run it, that is how they choose to run it. I think in the core rule book it's 2. I am unsure. Oh, like in D. Guess who has an inability to read? Darn, I don't have the rule book. I have Troika's rule book. But unless you, like, if you have the random bandit camp and you off a character to random bandits because they want, it's like, oh, I want the random bandits to be a little bit more difficult. It's like, okay, give them like a little bit of a strategy, so you need to think about it. Don't off your characters to non-essential fights. The DMG has an alternate rule, so maybe there's 2. Yeah. I read the rules for D&D years ago. Many a years ago. I think about... No, earlier than that. About 8 years ago. I read the books about 8 years ago, and I go based off of vibes and frickin' actual play podcasts. It's like, wow. Thinking. Because also yeah. D20s have power, but not that much power. Unless it's cool. I'm very much also a rule of cool DM. It's just like, you know what? That's cool. But like, hey, we're gonna fight a dragon. Please bring an extra character sheet. That's fine. But oh, I want to make the fights harder. Ugh.
Number 3, if you call me or my roles unfair, I'll get up and go home. And if you gotta ride with me, you can find your own way back and suck it up.
Okay. Critique? Like, kind critique? Like, hey, I think you're being a little... Like, this is getting out of my... Like, this ain't... Like... don't leave. Gone. Hello, hello, Celestia. It's like, have a conversation about it like a grown adult. Like, have a conversation. Can you talk? Can you talk to people? Can you talk to the other grown adults that are also at your table and respect them? Can you have the respect for yourself to speak like an adult and why you feel like your feelings have been hurt? Can you? Do you have the ability to act like a grown adult? And not strand people. And if it's like, oh, if you got a ride with me, you could find your own ride home. Stop acting like a toddler. You're a grown adult. That is my thoughts on that one. You can talk. Nope. Sorry. I'm too low IQ. That's why I stay home, bros. It's like, you have a... It's not about IQ. It's not even about emotional intelligence. It's like, hey, this, like, I don't understand why you have called this unfair. And then you have a conversation about it. And then you talk. You don't go home in a temper tantrum. That's my thoughts on that one. Moving on.
Number 4. I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want it given out. Rule 3 will apply here.
As a sandbox DM, I very much disagree with this. I understand if you're playing a more old school game, then that... Like, I understand if you're playing more old school, then yeah, that does seem fair. Old school D&D and old school style games tend to have that high turnover rate with items. But this seems like a 5e person who runs 5e. Like, this one seems weird to me. Like, you don't deserve stuff for winning battles. Why does it get taken away? It's just like, DM seems like a huge jerk. I can see where these rules are coming from, but each rule seems like the nuclear option. Exactly. It's just like, well, you critique me, I am leaving. You do not get the opportunity to speak to me. I will leave. Like, I understand in more old school games, like in Troika, if I were to pull that out right now, that is an old school game. Like, it is designed for where character creation is so easy because you are expected to die a lot. It's like when a character dies, it's like your party mates will scramble for your loot. And if you come into the game expecting that with mechanics to make characters quickly, that's great. But like in a D&D 5e game where I can't just roll 2d6 and get a new character, making a character, especially at non-level 1, takes time. Like, making a level 1 character takes some time. Unless you are playing a game that is designed for fast turnover, this is mean. It's just...
Number 5. If you don't act out any of your persuasion or intimidation or any other social checks, you fail before you even roll. You fail immediately because you aren't even trying, and you're making the game lame for everyone else.
Okay, the fact that this was said directly to the players that are receiving this makes it worse. Like, some people are actually defending this CM, which is surprised by. I don't play D&D. Able to know if it's justified or not, but on its face, it just feels wrong. With persuasion and intimidation, not everyone is persuasive, and not everyone is intimidating. like, imagine me trying to act out an intimidation check. Like, I do want to encourage people to act out. Like, if I wanted to enact on, okay, if I saw my characters not acting out their persuasion or intimidation checks as an issue, and I wanted to encourage them to do that behavior, I would reward them for acting, not punish them for not acting. Because we are critters, first and foremost. And critters like treats. So it's just like, you get a D4. Yippee! Like, you act. It's annoying, but I understand. It's like, I tried to persuade my way into XYZ. It's like, okay, would you like to? Like, this rule makes sense if you don't want your character strong at certain abilities, but let someone else do it, right? That's why you have a team. But it's like, if I saw this as an issue, it's like, my players are not encouraged to act as much when they could roll to do something. I would just like, you get a good bean token, which you can redeem for 1d4 whenever you want. To like add to a roll, like a d20 roll. You could add 1d4 because you have been a good bean. It's like, you reward behaviors you do want. You do not punish behaviors. I would like to I want to redeem it for 1 bean, please. And the tokens are actually, but like, people like little treats and trinkets. So it's like, like, person with the most beans at the end of the game today gets an eraser. Yippee! Good old bean. It's like, I want all the beans. I'm gonna save up my beans. If you don't actually want your characters using the D4s, they're just like, like my solution to this has always been, what is your approach? Like, if they're going to be suck up, pretend to be best friends from childhood, exactly. Like, even if you say it's like, I'm like classic persuading the door guard. It's like, darn it, I need an example character. Okay, where's my bag of dice? I'm grabbing my bag of dice. Get it, ba. 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 Okay. We're gonna use base Troika to make example character for when I need an example of something. Okay. Let us bring out ye old friend of the channel, Shirokube, also known as the Notepad app. Yippee! Member nobility. Too many. This is just a bunch of readmes. Okay. Don't save. Okay. Window. Hello, Shirokube. Everyone's favorite member of this participant of this channel. The Notepad app. Yeah. Here. Okay. I'm going to use base characters from Troika. Because I have the book for Troika. Notepad love. Notepad love. Yeah, we're not even really gonna do stats. We're just gonna do basic. Let's do let's do pip styled. It's like me and my bag of these D6s that I specifically set aside for Troika. Let's do 2 pip dice. A pink one and like a pretty one. Let us see what character I get in 2. I'm a dwarf. You are a short, hairy, belligerent creature. Dwarfs are fabricated people, each made in turn by another. In such, there are no dwarf children or dwarf parents to prevent you from being fully committed to the important dwarfy endeavors of creating fine art in unusual places. You intend to find the most unusual places in all the millions of spheres. You get a masonry hammer and a roll of artist supplies. Hammer! Okay. Dwarf. Also, one thing I love about Troika is just like, you're a kind of, like, oh, this is a class of person. You are a dwarf. You are an elephant man. It's like, wow. Sometimes your class is a critter. The way, little art guy. It's just like high awareness and wrestling. Oh damn, like 1E. Yes, Troika is very old school and very harsh. If you're running Troika, then you can be like this. It was like awareness. Gills. That was good. No, it's just like let's do another roll to give you another example of what Troika characters are like. 1/6, like the Clavinger. The key masters wander the universe, fathoming the workers of all entryways. Though they are quite fascinated with simple chests and doors, they are most excited by the metaphysical and metaphorical barriers you might find in small conclaves of the chivalrades camped around. Wait, you might find small conclaves of Clavingers just cramped around the feet of the demon gates, debating appropriate methods of attack, building obscure machines of entry. Festooned with keys. You are festooned with keys. Counts as modest armor. A distinguished sledgehammer that damages as a maul and lockpicking tools. It's like, wow. You are the key man with the key plan. We will put Troika to a side. And you have wrestling. But it's like, if I were my dwarf and I needed to persuade the door guard, it's like, hey, like, I persuade the door guard by promising him art with unfathomable to create him a piece of unfathomable value, all in exchange for just letting us through. That is role playing. That is role playing. Even if you don't know how to say or act, it's like, even if you don't know how to act that out, it's just like, I will give you art. It's like persuasion, bribery. Yeah, it was like, attempt to bribe the door guard with art. Like, that is a character related. point of persuasion. Is like, if you would, like, if you want to encourage people to do that, then it's just like, yeah, that's good. But also, don't say that your players are lame to their faces. That's just normal people rude. That's just rude. Did your mom tell you that? Did your raising parent tell you that that was rude? Don't be rude. They could leave. Moving on.
Number 6. If you don't pick up cues for side quests, that's not my problem. Get over yourself. It's not a video game. It's a role-playing pen and paper-based game with miniatures. I'm not holding your hand if you choose not to pursue shit.
Okay, other than the extremely rude tone of this. Yeah, it's not... If you don't pick up, like... I do have one of the classic quest boards. I actually do... I have this one in, like, my primary setting. I have an association known as the Tavern Inn and Guild Hall, which is, like, a franchise in, like, multiple cities. Like, the Tavern Inn and Guild Hall is a guild on in of itself of those who run Tavern Inn and Guild Halls, which adventurers guilds, like, hey, you get free space in this building if you let us build one of our franchises here, the Tavern Inn and Guild Hall. And therefore, it's like, we get more business, you get a free place with, like, hey, you get to go, you get the tavern and you get the inn. And it's like a very nice building that is in a majority of major cities. And I do have ye old classic quest board. And I do have the Tavern Inn and Guild Hall guild, like the frickin' desk folk. I do, and I also do give the desk folk matching costumes across all things. I think that's funny. I also have battle maids that can be rented, like the mercenary battle maids. Sometimes the mercenaries are different, but I always have at least one with battle maids because I like battle maids. Battle maids are cool. Like, imagine fighting in poofy dresses with brooms. Fighting with brooms. Fighting. Broom, fighting. But yes. Yes. Yawn. Other than the extremely rude phrasing of this, yeah, if it is not my job to keep, well, it is my job to keep you interested. Maid RPG has been pretty fun the few times I play it. But there's a Maid RPG. Googling. Google. Oh. Oh, nice. Okay. Maids. Okay. I need to look at that later. But if you aren't interested in the sides, well, again, I'm a sandbox DM. There is rarely a main story unless, like, if you, like, I give you a few options and then like things go from there. So that is not really applicable to the game stuff which I cover. But if you don't find a path interesting thing and you don't want to pursue it, it's not my problem. That's cool. I'll make another one. I can make more. If you don't find that one interesting, then I'll just make another one. But that is extremely rude.
Number 7. If you move to a square in combat, there's no takebacks.
As a person who does not work with miniatures and works in the theater of the mind. Ooh. 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 But like, if you're using it as like, like, looking at where you can move and why you want to move there, it's just like, again, if you need to like, oh, what options do I have if I move to this square? What options do I have if I move to this square? It's like, wow, this is another hostile. It's just, yeah, nah.
Number 8. You tell every single person what you're doing before you do it. You don't fucking roll dice and then say you're casting fireball. You tell us all.
I understand the sentiment behind this one, but sometimes it's like, this one's a for me. This one is a definite like, please tell me, the DM, what you're doing. It's like, so I can hit you with the, are you sure about that? But otherwise, that's a solid
Number 9. I will give out exhaustion more frequently. If you argue, go home. Or you can actually fight me over it. Or you can DM yourself.
Exhaustion is supposed to be, in D&D 5e, exhaustion is supposed to be infrequent. It's supposed to be, like, there are 6 points of exhaustion for a reason. It's like, I understand the sentiment, but gosh, you sent this to your players. The people that you ostensibly want to be playing with you. Why would you be rude? You're a part of the table too. Exhaustion is a condition in D&D 5e that extends the effects of extreme tiredness. I think there are like 6 levels of exhaustion. I love that you're sure about what, when used properly, can. It's like, I love, are you sure about that? When used properly, can send, sure, chills down a player's spine. I tend to have players that are extremely new to the game and tend to be a little bit murder hobo-y. It's just like, are you sure? Are you sure about that? Are you really sure? Okay, this is gonna turn out badly, but okay. Then you can pick up. Like, but like, I think one point of it, yeah, there's 6 levels of exhaustion, and I think the 6th level makes you dead. Yeah, it makes you dead. Wow. Like, disadvantage on ability checks. Half of your speed. Disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Those hit point maximum half. Speed reduced to 0. Then death. You cannot be giving out exhaustion like it's candy. Okay, but like, I'm not saying for Berserker Barbarians that I haven't run that way. I think for Berserker Barbarians, I would definitely, like, 3 strikes, then you're hit with exhaustion, because the entire point of Barbarians is to rage. I was like, 3 strikes, you're hit with exhaustion. But I'm very permissive of, hello, I am awake and perceiving. Yes, but I want to give permission to my players to use their abilities, but it's just like, take a nap. You need to take your nap.
Number 10. Every snide comment you make to an NPC will be remembered and paid back in triplicate. You all seem to believe there is little consequence. Number 11.
Let your pair... Well, no, the thing is they can extend their range once per rage. Oh... I have never had someone... It's like, most of the time I play with level 1s, and then the campaign ends before they hit their subclasses. I am not used to this. It's like okay, let's... Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. Okay, I would reduce it to like 2. It's like, you are half exhausted. You are half exhausted. Oh gosh, are they always dying? No, my players just, like, we have the classic, well, no one has time anymore and we can't schedule things. I have school, I have work, etc., etc. So it's just like, welcome to existing as people with different schedules. And in different time zones, usually. So it's just like, well, I can't do that. It's like, well, I don't want to stay up for French people.
11. You will not be given a mega dungeon every session. A temple is not the size of a small city, neither is a cave. This shit will happen when it's natural and organic. Go play some roguelike if you want that. No.
Why? First of all, yeah. Also, like, this is a, yeah, but why you gotta be rude about it? Also, city temples are cool. Like, but not every temple or cave is a city. Like, yeah, I don't really do mega dungeons. I do welcome to the cave. There's a little bit of water in it. They're caves! Like, but not everything is a mega dungeon. Unless you're playing someone's mega dungeon. Like, I perceive mega dungeons as, like, there's a city on every floor. Like, that is unreasonable to expect, but also, why do you gotta be rude about it? He's like, oh, I want things to be bigger. It's like, okay, have slightly larger cave. with 2 bodies of water. One of them is bigger than a puddle. Wow. Wow. But still, why you gotta be rude? Beep.
Number 12. The travel portion is done. You want to travel continents doing literally whatever you want, whenever you want? Go play World of Warcraft or play D&D with ChatGPT. Number 13.
What? Has this person never heard of the joys of hex crawling? Have you never heard of the joy of hex crawling? Hex crawling is fun. Bumping around while you're traveling, seeing interesting things, seeing parts of stories that you haven't taken part of yet, that's fascinating. I don't even know what this rule is supposed to mean either, but I think this person is just boring.
Dean, if you're late with no good reason, I'm going to have your character's hit points for the entire session.
I am afraid to see what a good reason is for you. Like, people exist. People have lives. People can be late for a myriad of reasons. It's not your fault if, like, you are late for a bad reason. You're late because you're late. And also, I have, like I do speak this out with my players beforehand. But most of the time I have them on, they're there, but they're in the corner doing nothing. Like, I have them on auto follow. They're an auto follow NPC. I need to go get Mama Mixin her breakfast.
Number 14.
Do you not enjoy the dancing fruits? They do have slightly more bloom than usual. Usually they are a little bit... They do not give off ambient light. Not particularly, no. You see, the dancing fruit are a staple of this channel. They groove, and they move, and they shimmy. I think the best way to describe the dancing fruit as they're an exercise of letting your brain turn off. Just like... And also the royalty-free music on these are groovy. You be groovy. It's like, I understand as adults, we are usually not given time to like turn our brains off. So the dancing fruit are an exercise of just pure, unbridled enjoyment from simplicity. And this isn't even that simple. Like, well... I'm getting distracted!
My DM just...
Okay. Yeah.
Shit for fear of upsetting.
Yeah.
That will be determined by me alone
If you don't show up for no
one else has the guts to say that shit for fear
you determined by me
of upsetting
alone.
one another. The first time you'll find yourself losing either a whole level or up to 3 major items of your own. The second time you do it in a row, you'll be removed from chat and the group. Full stop. I have no fucking time for people to not show up.
And that will be determined by me alone. If no one has else the guts to say... I feel like we should go back to the dancing fruit. What? Why? Okay, first of all, who are you to determine if someone doesn't show up for a good reason? Dancing fruit DM. No, I got this. It's like... Like, sometimes when you want to play a game that is for fun, you don't want it to be an obligation. Like, I understand setting aside time to do your fun things and your recreationals with your friends, not friends, and hobbies alike, requires effort. But sometimes you just got the spoons. Sometimes you don't got the spoons. I would hate to be the player that I am around this DM. I would not want to play with this person. I would not want to play with this person.
Number 15. If you get too stoned or too drunk to play, I will go home without a warning. Your warning is here.
First of all, I understand if you are blackout inebriated, black or greened out, whatever variation. If you are too colored out, if you are out of it, then I understand, like, hey, this game requires a medium of think. Sometimes you are not in the space to think right now. On the other hand, a little bit of inebriation is fun. Just be evasion. It's like, I completely understand if you... No, I said or greened. It's like, if you are too out... Like, if you are out of it to the point where you, like, yeah, if you're not making sense, then you're not making sense. You should probably go home and take a nap. Or look at the ceiling. Ceilings are fun. But that is reasonable.
If you get up for a bong or smoke or whatever breaks every 10 minutes, I will simply pack up and go home. I am sick of waiting for every bloke to be at the table.
Okay. Have a collective break time. It's like, if you have a party that does indulge, it's like, okay, like, we reach a good we reach a good pausing point, and then everyone is like, okay, here is your designated time break. Here is your time. But I personally know people who use that to function. And also, if you vape, I don't want you vaping indoors. I don't like it when people vape indoors. It's like smoking indoors. I do not want to smell whatever flavor you have in your rig indoors. Go out on the patio. But I am totally okay with patio breaks. You think it's DMing the stoners? I would love to DM a group of stoners. I would love to. That would be silly. But like, again, this is a time where you need to communicate clearly. It's like, hey, I understand substances are fun. Please be normal. But I have to throw mad clouds at the table. Okay, if you have to vape at the table, at least do cool tricks. At least entertain me. Entertain me. Make it into a little ring. Make it go woo. It's like, if you must do something that I do not vibe with, you must entertain me with it, peasant. It's like,
Number 17. Guidance, divination spells, owls, and whatever spells I decide are too fucking stupid are banned. Outright. No more fucking guidance.
Sure, it's your table. Why do you have to be so rude about it, though? It's like, hey, I don't tend to like guidance spells.
Number 18. You get one chance at a skill check. If you fuck it up, Your party doesn't get their chance to do the same check. Think careful who's good at what.
On one hand, I get it. On the other hand, it depends on the skill check. What's wrong with guidance? I don't know.
Number 19. Discussion of metagame details in-game will result in instant damage to your character.
You remove. On one hand, I understand the sentiment. On the other hand, you are not being a good bean. Reaches over the table, grabs one of the good beans, puts it back in my bean pile. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. You are a bad bean. That means you do not get one of your good beans. Bean removal.
Number 20. Roles lawyering fellow players is encouraged. Actually, me will result in me telling you to fuck off.
You can ruin other people's fun, but ruining my fun of being your tyrant will result in me yelling at you. Yeah.
Number 21. You roll your dice within view of two players who aren't you standard. You roll them neatly, and you roll them on the table. Failing to do these three things will auto-fail whatever roll you did. Arguing that you actually rolled validly when you clearly didn't is an automatic critical fail.
On one hand, bean removal. It's like picks up bean. No more bean. Bean removal. Yeah, roll cleanly. I don't agree with the critical stuff, but yeah, roll cleanly with two people seeing you. Yeah, that's fair. Roll your dice and roll them neatly.
Number 22. Instant death traps and mechanics are coming into place. If you call these things unfair moving forward, I will laugh at you and tell you to fuck off and cry some more.
I love non-story relevant death. I love it.
Number 23. I will not give you random magical items and vendors will not stock them. They are meant to be rare and hard to acquire.
There are common magical items! Those exist! Give your players their treats! Admittedly, I am a person. Guys, I think she might actually not like story relevant death. Yes. Good job. You have noticed the sarcasm. You get a bean. Beans. But they're common magical items. Actually, what? Yeah, they have little trinkets. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, it's just like, it's a pen. It's like, it's a pen. Like, the armor of gleaming. This armor never gets dirty. Like, there are here. Eat fire, making every source of fire on him, so you force fire. Okay, that is interesting. Like, having this one thing that you avoid because it's effectively your kryptonite that is an interesting thing. But it's just like having like an armor dealer who spells like a really common item, magical item, is just like, this armor never gets dirty. It's like, but like, trinkets and thingies. Trinkets and thingies. They are thingies and trinkets. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's like the bead of nourishment. The bead of refreshment. Bead. Like the cleaning stone. The cloak of billowing. I understand if you don't want to give your players high level magical items, but give them trinkets. Trinkets are fun. Trinket.
Number 24. Random encounters in the form of random dragons or strange mysterious road trader or a band of goblin prostitutes isn't going to happen. Go play Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Like a whole bunch of... exactly. Random encounters are a special thing. Like, there can be... No, it's just like... Random encounters are going to be boring and boring exclusively. I am very much like, not every random encounter needs to be combat. But also... Strange and mysterious trader? That's standard. Just make him a scam artist.
Number 25. I don't give two fucks what Reddit says about X or Y ruling.
Fair.
Number 26. I actually give less of a fuck about what your mate's D&D group did.
Fair.
Number 27. Saying anything to me about other players not liking me doing X or Y without them saying it directly to me will result in me kicking you out of the group. Don't use someone else to push your agenda.
Why don't we talk like adults?
Number 28. You are not to sit down and have a 2-hour discussion about what Samson from Bundora Secondary did 3 weeks ago when you come to play. Take the 15 to 20 minutes I used to set up and review my notes to talk to each other. Then, sit down to play. No.
I get it. But also, I get it. Why'd you need to be rude about it?
Number 29. Saying shit like, guys, come on, we're not here to have fun. We're here to play D&D. This is serious business. Is rude and dismissive of how much work I put into this. I will simply go home if I hear this shit.
Why can't you talk like adults? Also, that's fun. It is a game. You could put a lot of effort into a game. You can put a lot of effort into cumulative storytelling. If your players are saying this to you, that means that you should evaluate how you are being perceived. Like, if it feels like everyone else at the table is having a game, and like, you have to fit the tone with your home. Like, if a group of players that you are playing with want to muck around and do silly stuff, you must be prepared for them to muck around and do silly stuff. Not everyone here is for an epic story. It's collective story. And if you want your players to engage with the story, make it interesting to them. It's not just your storytelling time. The DM is a player too. And that requires you to both listen to your fellow players about what they want as a part of the game, and also for your players to respect your fellow players to respect you as a player. And also, it's like, that is a common quippage. You can find that quippage not funny. It was like, hey, I put a lot of work into this. I would prefer if we take this more seriously. Or just match the vibe. Match the vibe, dude. If people just want to, like, have a little bit of, like, if they want to murder hobo while getting like smashed off their flank, sure. Match the vibe. It seems like you are, like, trying to have an epic story with harsh, like, you're trying to play D&D, like, old school RPGs, while other people are trying to play Bap the Boblin with my buddies. This is, like, let's have a communal time with Bap the Goblin. You are not prepared for Bap the Goblin. Don't play with people who want to play Bap the Goblin.
Number 30. Don't fucking order food randomly. We will eat together at a specific time. Or not at all. I don't want food shit all over my things.
People get hungry. I understand. Respect other people's things. Respect other people's things. It's like, hey, like, if you are at a table, you can just, like, scoot back. It's just like, yum, 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 yum. Then put away your snacky, and then continue.
Number 31. No food or drinks near any of my D&D gear. If you wreck something, you can pay for it. I let one person trash my DM screen once, and I never had it replaced by them. In fact, I had that person attempt to gaslight me into believing they didn't wreck my shit at all. I'm not stupid. You're an adult. Accept responsibility.
Fair, but also, you've been acting like a petulant child all this time by listing out these rules in front of your players without talking to them directly, like they're also adults. So if you're going to act like a petulant child, I don't feel like you need to be respected like an adult either, because you want to act like a petulant child. Your players can act like petulant children. The golden rule exists. I understand that you got your stuff trashed, and that hurts. And sometimes that stuff is expensive, and I understand that hurts. And I understand that people don't take responsibility for the things that they do. And that hurts. Don't expect people to always be garbo. And don't project so insistently and then throw a temper tantrum anytime you don't get what you want. Act like an adult. You're an adult. Accept responsibility for your actions and how people behave around you, because you're usually giving the energy back.
Number 32. Arguments between party members outside of roleplay will be resolved by me giving the definite ruling. If you don't like it, fuck off back home.
That is my response to that.
Number 33. I don't give a fuck what they did in Critical Role or what that one guy on Reddit said. Or if you think that it's all make-believe so you can do what you want. The world I run works on internal rulings and lore I created specifically for it.
Fair. You're being rude.
34. Every single person in this chat is having debuffs applied to their characters that should have occurred a long time ago. This will be specific to characters.
Discuss it with your players.
35. If you don't bring your sheet, you don't play.
Make copies? That's rude. People forget stuff.
36. If you don't bring dice, borrow some.
That is fair.
37. When we play D&D, I'm not your friend. That doesn't mean you treat me like an enemy during the game. It means I'm no longer being nice.
You're still people and you're still playing a game. You are DMs are still players. DMs are still players. DMs are still players at the table. They are doing different things, but they are still players at the table.
38. If you treat me poorly in any way, shape, or form after or during or before the game due to something that happened in the game, you're out. If you cannot separate a game from reality, I think you are a fucking moron, and I have little time to deal with that energy.
You're a person that is if you're doing rulings for in-character things, for things that happened outside of the game, they're willing to be pissy outside of the game. Again, returning energy.
39. You will submit your spell list daily in-game. If you do not give me a spell list each day in-game, you will not be allowed to cast a single spell or cantrip in combat. I do not trust you guys to not use this against me.
It's a game. I'm pulling it. It's just a game. Why are you being so pedantic about this? Being a spellcaster is annoying enough.
Number 40. If you do not mark off spell slots or you say something like, I remember what I'm at, as a way to justify it, I will simply fail your spell, deal half your health and damage to you, and say you have no spells to cast for the rest of the day.
People have the ability to count. People can count. People can count. People can count. You can count them. If you are so insistent on counting them on a paper, then you can count them. Count. Counting is fun.
Number 41. If you break literally anything, you can buy the replacement that day or not attend till you do.
Well, that seems excessive.
42. If you complain about the choice of music, I fully expect you to bring the whole playlist the next session or to shut the fuck up.
That's just critique. Also, you're playing a game that relies on simple math. You can count. I believe in you. I can count. I believe in me. Counting. Also, there are these like cool little, like, if you are very insistent on people counting their spell slots, there are these little cards in little wooden things with magnets. They're little wooden things with magnets. Just give your spellcasters little things with magnets. Magnet. Magnet. Magnet.
43! Cannot stress enough how little I care about how you feel about my rulings from now on. Oh, and rule 44, I'm not just threatening you, I'm promising you. Goes through.
Usually, if I'm using the bean system, I have a pile of actual beans. Like, bean. Given that they were as hiatus, I really like that DM played with randoms where each of these things came up and there were no rules about it. You just got really mad. Instead of being an adult, yeah. Most of these problems can be solved by talking. And some of these are like but I saw this on Reddit. It's like, different DMs have different rules. I understand those things. I understand, please don't get blackout or greened out or thinged out. Don't become so inebriated that you cannot become comprehensible at my table. I would like you comprehensible at my table. It's like, just talk to your players. Because we're all people here and we're all trying to have our own version of fun in the silly, pretend, collective storytelling game. I understand that, like, and also like if you can't separate the game from reality is like, this is a collective storytelling piece where everyone has made decisions. If I want to critique one of the decisions that you have made as a player and as a person, I can critique those. You don't need to look. You don't need to value my critique. You don't even need to care. But it's just like, oh, if you critique me, damage. There will be consequences for you questioning my authority. Get a life, man. Like, if this is so impactful for you that you get so unbelievably upset, then get a life. It is a hobby. This isn't your entirety. I feel like this person has made this hobby their entirety. And that hurts the people around you, and it hurts you. Keep your ducks in a row. Have more hobbies. My suggestion to this DM is get some hobbies. Play with people that are your friends. Get hobbies outside of DMing. in tabletop. Learn to bake. Do things. Get a variety of life experiences and have a life. I am starting to get tired again. So thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble on. You are loved. You are appreciated. Having a diverse set of hobbies outside of work, outside of the primary thing you do, makes you a healthier human being. And also it makes you a better person. It makes you a person with more fulfilling life experiences and a more robust category of things to draw upon. And I think that makes you, yes, you, the person, feel better as a human. And you deserve that. Because everyone deserves that. Because no one deserves to feel this upset over a hobby. I understand having intense emotions about hobbies is completely valid. But having this much resentment and this much anger isn't helpful for anyone. Especially you. I'm clicking the button. Otsusamare, have a nice day. But yeah. Oh, yes. I'm pressing the button.